Hi there Pisces, thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for May. A month which begins with a lot of mental energy buzzing around with the Sun and Mars in the part of your scope to do with conversation. However, ironically, Mercury and Venus are in an area which is more muted, and in fact Mercury, which is the planet of talk and thought, is opposed by Saturn in the first few days of this month, which could see you worrying about an issue, particularly if it's to do with an offspring or perhaps a parent and they need more of your time and energy. That could be where your thinking could be directed. If there are other people to talk this situation through with, the fourth full moon could see some challenges in terms of different opinions, and it's hearing them out and trying to work through. But what's going to help you enormously this first week of the month is that the Sun forges a really important angle to Pluto. When these two get together in this way, some kind of transformation can take place. Now this can be an internal transformation in view of how we see ourselves, our emotional health, or it could be something that changes in your outside world. I do think that you can gain a great deal of satisfaction from being with people where you feel there's some kind of collective belief that you all buy into. Perhaps you work in a small business where you're all close, or it could be a group of friends. And that type of connection can be something you can thrive on as this month begins. But anything to do with more hidden anxieties can be brought out by the Sun square with Jupiter, which could almost see you trying too hard to help other people. It's great to be sacrificing, but you also need to be conscious of your side of it. If you give, then you may be depleting your energies, so don't try too hard in the early days of this month. Venus actually moves for you on the 8th into a supremely fantastic part of your scope, the 5th solar house, joining up with your sister water sign of Cancer. Now Venus's journey through this part of your situation is going to go on for the rest of May, but it's not going to be without one complication. Between the 19th and the 26th it goes into an opposition with Pluto, and it is going to be squaring up with Uranus. The suggestion here therefore is that money could be an issue in your love life, or even around a friendship, or something can come up, an unexpected cost which can surprise you, or someone can make you some kind of offer. Now, because you're going to be radiating quite a sensual energy and you can come across as being quite glamorous, even if at times you do want to go back into your shell, which is coming from Mercury's transit through your 4th solar house, I do feel that if an offer comes up of any kind, think very carefully before deciding what to do from the 19th to the 26th. When Venus and Pluto get involved, there's often something that's very, very yummy, very tempting, but if we go for it, there's often catches which are not obvious at the time. Pluto's about power and domination, and someone may try to control you in some kind of way which isn't healthy. But Mars moves on the 12th, and Mars moves into the same area that Venus has just vacated. And Mars in this area can be very good if you're wanting to get physical changes done to where you live. But it can be a defensive influence, and it also goes opposite Saturn itself. And this can create quite a lot of frustration. If there is a lot going on in your work situation, or that there's demands at home, and other people aren't really helping you with those, it can all get on top of you, and that can cause your sense of frustration to increase much more rapidly than would normally be the case. Even if you're someone who's usually quite tranquil and quite calm about things, you can feel really quite irritated if people are not being very cooperative, and some angry moments are possible. However, there is a gorgeous new moon which occurs on the 18th, which just reminds you that despite the struggle that has gone on with Mercury's opposition to Saturn and Mars's opposition to Saturn, and the Sun's going to do it from the 21st, there is an opportunity for you to communicate your emotions, but emotions are different from words, so just be mindful of that. On the 19th, the whole issue of communication is underlined even more when Mercury goes into retrograde. Now, Mercury in the fourth solar house is not a happy bunny. It's an area where we can bottle things up, we can be overly sensitive, we can be subjective. We tend to think that maybe people are talking about us, not being very kindly to us, and actually it can all be something that we're creating in our minds. So don't jump to any conclusions when Mercury does go into retrograde, and do be conscious that it's going to be going backwards through to the end of the month. But if you are trying to do anything practical in terms of changes to your home, and Mars is going to be giving you a lot of determination, well, Saturn in opposition to Mars initially, and then Mercury's retrograde, can see all sorts of glitches and inhibitions and blockages come up, which could be hugely frustrating. And it's going to be important to just count to 10 and not let things get to you. In fact, when the Sun moves into Gemini on the 21st, there can be more of this. So you can see this blocking that's going on from Saturn is happening quite consistently through the month. Saturn for you is in a part of your horoscope now, although it's twisting backwards, which is to do with your role in life and to do with obligations and responsibilities. And if you have got a lot on your plate in terms of worldly role, perhaps it's going to mean that some of your personal needs in terms of space, peace, tranquility are going to be challenged this month. But it depends on how much you want the goal. On the other hand, it could be those home-based or family-based or emotional issues which are stopping you function so well in the world. So there's some juggling to do in terms of time and emotional resources. And finally, at the end of this month, the Sun then goes into a square with Neptune in your sign. And that can be a very depleting energy. Whenever I think of Neptune and the Sun, I think of almost like water lapping at the side of a shore, but slowly but surely the shore goes back into the land. The water almost like eats away at the substance of whatever we're trying to do. So although the first stage of this month can be quite buzzy and a lot of mental energy, and there can be the glamour that you're going to get from Venus's transit through Cancer, I do feel that it's your emotional situation which really is the key to this month. And it's like staying in touch with who you really are. And sometimes it's difficult for Pisces people because you are someone who can be much stronger than often the archetype that's put out there by a lot of astrologers. But I also feel there can be this sense that you can get it caught up in causes which aren't necessarily always good for you, and that can see you getting run down and not always looking after your own inner needs. So if you do need to withdraw at times this month, recharge, do some meditation, some yoga, eat very carefully, be very cautious around alcohol and any kind of toxins, and try to eat as much nutritious food as possible. It will help you to get through to the end of this month. But your foundations are coming into focus, and worldly demands and how they impact on your home situation are really at the root of this. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.